Welcome. Hi. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that wonderful introduction. Um,
Welcome.
I'm going to be talking. I welcome everybody to the broadcast, and I look forward to sharing some information with you about mentoring and how mentoring relationships cultivate that idea of personalized learning. Let me just start you off with a little bit of statistics here. Did you know that 70% of digital transformation projects fail? That's kind of astounding, isn't it? But they don't fail because, they don't have the technology. They fail because people just aren't supported through the change. And so imagine for those of you who are on the call today, if you are developing a mentor-mentee relationship team here, how would your team feel empowered, tracked, and celebrated from day one if they had the tools to use the technology-driven mentorship programs that are available to make the change that you need to really be successful? I'm going to take a few minutes today to talk to you how to move that mentor-mentee relationship through personalized learning using tech-based strategies. So when we talk about mentorships and developing those kind of relationships between mentees and mentors, we're looking at how to apply theory to practice so that the application of whatever tool you use to track your or to develop and cultivate your mentor relationship is is able to be applied applicable in the real world. And then whatever tech tools you use have to measure and track the growth of whatever you and your mentee are doing. There's no need in having a tool that doesn't track whether or not your mentee is progressing and what it is he or she needs to learn about your company, or what is it that you need to guide them through their personalized learning. Mentoring also builds strong tech skills. And if you're using a technology based program, you're going to be able to match that tech skill with that mentee program. So, what's the first thing you need to do to get your mentee mentor relationship adaptable to the tech driven mentorship program you might choose? It's got to be someone or something that includes everybody from the start. So when you're doing these kinds of mentee mentor development programs, you need to make sure that you hear the voice of your mentee to determine whether or not the tool that you're going to use matches their skill set. Also, whether or not it's going to host, a lot of situations where you're going to get the feedback that you're going to need to help that mentee progress. And as a mentor, I'm going to hope that you're going to create some type of kickoff celebration or have some type of needs assessment survey so that you can gather the data that you need to make sure that you're being the best mentor possible so that your mentee can achieve his or her goals. The second thing you need to think about is communicating a vision and a plan and talk about the benefits of being a part of a mentor mentee program. Because in this way, they can see that there is some buy in, not only on their part, but also on your part as a mentor. But they also have a part of sharing those kinds of conversations with you and understanding why this particular strategy that you're choosing or whatever type of tech driven mentorship program that you're using really matters. You're also going to show how it's going to improve their workforce productivity. Either it's going to be their output, whether or not it's going to be mastering skills or understanding policy. They get a chance to use that mentorship tool to bounce ideas off of you as a mentor in the program. And also, it allows for easy accessibility. So, if you and your company are using mentor mentee tech based driven ideas, you're going to use webinars, you're going to use emails, you're going to use one on one conversations to drive that engagement. Because that, after all, that is the role of this project with you and your mentor and your mentee, is to develop a sense of community. The third thing that I would say that you need to think about is to provide training and support. Um, we're all novices in some way. And then somehow, when you have a mentee, learning a new culture, learning the new processes and nuances of an environment really is key. So, as a mentor, you're going to be able to run workshops with your mentee in a tech driven environment. You're going to be able to assign someone, maybe an IT person or some other person, to assist that mentee and understanding what is the technology and how to use the technology within your learning environment so that they can be successful and how you can help them. And also keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. The more the student or the more that the mentee can feel comfortable with the technology and even the technology based mentoring tool that you use, it's it's easier for them to understand it if it's really short, sweet, and simple. The next thing, think about monitoring, celebrating, and refining. Monitor using the tech driven tool. So as you move along, there are going to be benchmarks that mentee needs to meet. And even in your relationship with developing that mentee, as a mentor, you can track the progress of your mentee. If you need to go back and work on some things, it's easily tracked. You can measure those, but also celebrate. Whatever happens and your mentee just is doing a great job, don't forget to say, hey, you did a good job. And also, even if you go through all of that, try and refine things. So, for example, you might have a survey to share and share the progress. You might want to highlight the wins periodically as your mentee goes through the program or as your relationship develops, but also make changes based on that output. The key and the most important thing I would say is to make sure that those projects that you work on to develop your mentee mentor relationship are based on mutual understanding and respect. So, with that being said, I would say to do a couple of things. Think about taking a strong action to make sure that your mentorship programs are really supporting the mentee and the culture of your environment. Bring stakeholders together to the table. Not only are you the mentor guiding the mentee, but your stakeholders also have a role in developing the people in your learning space. Do a kickoff, do a goal sharing strategy conversation so that everybody is clear about what the goals and strategies are and how your mentee fits into that role. Choose targeted tools. There are thousands of tools that you can use to have a tech-driven mentor program. Choose one that fits your company or your organization. Having 3 or 4 vast across the environment is not going to work. Choose one that is going to be solid, that your company can support, that your mentees and mentors both can engage with, so that it is going to be targeted support. The training is going to be simple, and that will ensure that everyone will be able to participate. And lastly, also think about tracking your results. I know that in an age of where we don't like being tracked, that's the only way you're going to develop how one is moving in progress. And as a mentor, you really need to be able to measure how your mentee is doing within your organization. If your mentee falls short, if your mentee needs some guidance, that's your role to make sure that they are refining and practicing and progressing. And lastly, I think the big thing that is clear if I hear throughout the entire presentation is that you've got to have accurate, clear, and frequent communication. Having communication feedback loops is most important in making sure that your mentee is moving in a right direction. Having that constant conversations, having critical friend periods, also being able to allow them to have that open channel of communication with you in a confidential manner is most important. And I thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a wonderful conference this afternoon.